I love the way this car sounds. So, sorry about last week. Last week was crazy with our trip to Detroit. Then we went up to San Luis Obispo for the Acura event. But we are back, guys. I promise you, we're gonna have 5 vlogs in a row this week. If you guys are new here, my name is Evan Beckerman. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button.
About to be freaking dope.
So pit stop number 1 for today is the UPS store. Never really talked to you guys about this, but if you guys ever want to send us anything to open on camera, anything to unbox, I will put our PO box information on the screen right now. You guys don't have to do this. It's totally an optional thing, but it's kind of fun, and I've seen some other people have some fun with this. So let me go inside, grab these car parts, come back. All right, package acquired. Now it's time to get to the hunt quarters. Watching last week, you know that I attempted and failed to install the Mishimoto fan controller. So this should be the correct part. So that's it. There we go. So this fan controller should be the one that has the probe for the temperature. Let's see.
Oh, remember I opened the kit and looked at it and didn't see the probe in there.
Yeah, the last one.
I was wondering why it didn't have it.
There it is right there.
Yeah, that sticks in the radiator.
That sticks in the radiator. So we should be good to go. I can get rid of that crazy loud fan being on all the time.
You mean the street sweeper?
Yeah. Did you guys hear it pull up?
Yeah. We always think it's the street sweeper. We gotta move our cars.
Well, when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away.
So today we're going to be taking care of a very, very, very annoying problem that I've had with the M3 since I got it. Let me show you guys what I mean. So as soon as I turn on the key, all of these fans are basically hot wired to be on all the time. Now, I'm not really sure why they did that. The Mishimoto part that I picked up is only about 50 bucks, but we're gonna go ahead and get that all squared away today. So if you guys saw in a previous video, I did kind of go over this, but we have a puller fan and a pusher fan on this car, and they are wired together all the way through here and wired up to this cluster mess up here. So it does have 2 relays. I'm hoping I can clean up some of this wiring today and make sure this is all squared away. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do on this project is unwrap all of this electrical junk in here. So I don't really understand. There's like an external fuse here. There's the 2 relays. There are these wires that run all the way into a fuse box. So I need to remove all this extra looming and electrical tape. We're gonna see where we're at, and then we'll go ahead and I'll show you all the stuff that is in the Mishimoto fan controller kit. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is not a clean wiring job at all. I really don't know exactly why they would do this the way that they did. There's still a little bit more to disconnect. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna remove these 2 relays. I'm gonna remove all of the connections, and we're gonna start back over from square one. Right here is all of the leads from the 2 fans. So I should have 2 powers and 2 grounds, which it looks like I do. So those are gonna be clean. I looked at the connections throughout here. There's really no splicing or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna start fresh from this area. What's cool about BMW, it does have a positive and a negative here, which is super easy to wire. So let me go ahead and remove all this stuff, and then we're gonna start back over.
1 eternity later.
This is the wiring mess that I pulled out of the M3, kind of a mishmash of everything. 2 relays, lots of random wiring harnesses and terminals. So that is all behind us now. Here is the new Mishimoto fan controller setup, and it has the right temperature probe, wiring harness, extra wiring, some clips and terminals, and then this is the little brain unit. And there's actually a little cap here that you can pull up. can't do that with one hand. There's actually a little cap here. You can pull up and turn the temperature that you want the fans to come on at. So it uses the temperature probe. As soon as this reaches a certain temperature, then this will kick on and it'll kick on the fans. So coming over to the car, essentially all the wiring is removed in here. These are the two little signal wires that give the fans power when the accessory is turned on. So I actually do need these. And then here are the two powers, two grounds from the fans directly. So I'm going to be wiring those together and then hooking it up to the new Mishimoto fan controller. Okay, so the first step is to install this radiator probe, and I believe you installed this right on the side of the radiator. You guys can see that on the side there's some larger kind of gaps. Now it does say to put it as close as you can to the upper radiator hose, but the length of this wire provided is not long enough. It does say that it's okay to extend them. So what I'm going to do is find the ideal location and kind of map out where this wiring is going to go so that I can bring all the wires back to this area in the back. I got the probe into the radiator right there, and I ran the wire below this little cooler here. I'm probably going to clean this up, zip tie it, and I do need to extend it because this is the end of the wires here, and I need this to go into this loom all the way up here and into this back section here. So that's what I'm working on right now. I just stripped the wires. I got some spare wire here, going to be using shrink wrap and solder to connect those. We'll run these wires up here, and then I should have all the connections I need in the right area. That way we can just hook up the new relay and get this thing fired in. Okay, so I was fighting with the soldering iron for a little bit, but finally got these all good. So let me go ahead and add some shrink wrap, and then I'm going to route this wiring all the way up to the back cowl, and that's where we're going to do the rest of the wiring for this project. All right, so the fun continues. So I started peeling back some of the insulation and identified a potential major fire hazard. So red is power, black is ground here, and you can see this is completely melted. I'm not really too sure why they have these connectors here in the first place, and they have connectors on this one as well. We're going to be getting rid of all of this. I do not like the looks of this. We're actually going to be putting these together, two reds together and two blacks together, and then that will connect to the Mishimoto relay, which is right here. Okay, so this is the current status I wanted to share with you guys. I connected the two grounds and two powers together with some fresh wire, and then I also mounted up the relay for the Mishimoto controller. And I wanted to do it this way because that is the little plug that you pull out to change the temperature or set point. We have the wiring here, which I am now starting to do. So it's a very easy process. There's really only just a couple wires, and then I need to solder on the connector for the other end of the temperature probe. So just a little bit of wiring, nothing too crazy. I'm just going to set the camera down and bust it out. Alright, so guys, this is the finished product here. This is what it looks like now. We have all of the wires that came in here. Let me just plug that in, perfect. This is the new Mishimoto fan controller. Now this wire is for a on-off switch if I want to override the fan controller. So I may or may not need this for right now. It's just kind of cleaned up, zip tied out. This does have an inline fuse right here, and this is the plug for the temperature probe. So everything is pretty clean in here. The next step is to just start the car up, let it idle, and see if the fans come on at the right temperature. Okay, so in case you guys missed that, basically what happened is when I wanted to test to see if the triggering of the relay from the temperature set point, when I turn on the fans, what would happen. So essentially I took that override switch, which was the green wire, hooked it up to a 12-volt source. What that should do is automatically kick on both fans. Unfortunately, what happened is that popped the fuse, the inline fuse. So it looks like I can't run 2 fans on 1 controller or 1 relay. Now thankfully, if you guys remember from a previous video, I actually have another controller over here. Now this one does have the different style of probe, but I'm thinking that I can use this relay and somehow splice to use both probes here. Or I could even potentially use the relays that came on the car, one of them, to wire that one in series with this one. All right, to my dismay, it looks like I am going to be having to run 2 relays. Having 2 fans wired to the same relay was too much, unfortunately. So I will be installing a second relay, pretty much the exact same process, guys. I'm not gonna bore you with everything all over again. So let me check in with you when I have the second relay going and I'll begin the testing process. All right, although this is extremely painful to look at, this is very temporary. So I learned my lesson by putting everything and buttoning everything up before even testing it. So we're gonna test it now, and then hopefully everything is working good. Once everything's confirmed, then we'll go ahead and button everything up and make it look clean. So the first fan works with the override switch. Now let's check the other one. Perfect, they're both working properly, so we're gonna let this get up to temperature and see if the fans come on automatically. If they don't, well, we'll have to troubleshoot that, I guess, if it happens. Okay, so just got back from the first test drive, and so far so good. I've had the AC blasting, and so far the engine temps have not gone above the middle. So let's see if the fans are on. So neither fan is on right now. I really didn't get a chance to beat on it too much, but I'm gonna let it sit here and idle for another 5-10 minutes. We'll go out for another drive. Makes me a little bit nervous, but at least we know that the car is not overheating or anything like that. If by any chance something happens where the fans are not coming on, I have those 2 green wires that I can essentially hot wire right to the positive side. That will turn the fans on full power. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me go ahead and just check back in with you about 5-10 minutes when this thing is done idling. So please bear with me, bear with the spaghetti mess right now. This is not how this is going to be. But what I do need to do is adjust the temperature in which the fans come on. So there's a little switch here with a little flathead. You just rotate this. And you can feel when it kicks on. So I'm at 50%. I rotated about 50% around. That seemed to do the trick. I want to make sure that as soon as we reach temperature, the fans come on right away. I might even set one of them a little bit earlier, maybe. So I'm gonna have to keep playing with this, but now I know if I exceed a certain temperature, the fans are gonna come on, which is awesome. So the Mishimoto fan controller, very cool product. I really, really like it. Not too difficult to install. I probably should have read the instructions a little bit clearer. It did say that you could only run 1 fan on it, so I don't know. Oh well. So guys, I think that's all the time I have for you today. We are gonna be vlogging every day this week, so please hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up. See you guys in the next one. Guys, there was a lot of action you just missed. I did not get anything on film. Let me turn this down real quick. So, it looks like you cannot use 1 temperature probe for 2 of the Mishimoto relays. Not sure if that was dumb on my part, but we had a problem. A little bit of smoke, some wires somehow started melting. So turns out you cannot run 1 Mishimoto temperature probe with 2 of the relays. Unless you guys know how to do that, I'm not too sure. But essentially right now what I had to do is disconnect the pusher fan in the front. I'm just running off of the one right by the clutch fan. I'm not sure which one that's called, but I think I should be okay. I'm gonna keep a good eye on my temps, and if I need to, I'll blast the heat. Nothing really to sweat. We'll get it all sorted out. Checking with you guys tomorrow. tomorrow morning.